Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome to game number 2 of the quarterfinals of the WCS Season 2. And yeah, moving on, it is going to be aLive versus First. And First is going to be our blue Protoss player down the bottom right side of the map. And aLive is going to be our red Terran player down and up the top left side of the map. So yeah, not quite having the replay for these guys' first game, but we did watch that first game, or at least I watched it, and if you guys wanted to watch it and you haven't already, please click the link in the description for game number 1, which was uploaded with aLive versus First as the name, but it was actually a game of First versus MC or something like that, because as I said, didn't have the replay. But yep, anyway, you can go back and you can watch that game on another YouTube video if you so wish. But let's just say first game, aLive was very, very strong. He went out there, he did some very nice Hellion attacks, actually got quite a bit of damage, even a Hellion drop in there at some point, which I don't think First was expecting at all, because that really hit him quite hard, took out like 6 or 7 workers or something like that. So yeah, and also just the general Triple M sort of stuff. First choosing to go for mainly Blink Stalkers, and yeah, Blink Stalkers and a couple of DTs as well, just to see what would happen. And not the best decision going for the DTs and going for the Blink Stalkers. He definitely lost a game. I mean, aLive definitely had a lot of Marauders though. He went very Marauder heavy, and it worked out so well against the Blink Stalkers. So really, really nice job there. This SCV going to be looking a little bit dodgy, but a reinforcing SCV is going to be chasing this guy away. So yeah, that's going to be all fine. And aLive looking pretty good at this game, getting a very early expansion down before the 3-minute mark. And yeah, look at this beautiful, beautiful timing with this SCV coming out to block this. He may choose to build an engineering bay, but more likely he's just going to stay around as much as he can. However, with the Zealot coming out, or just manages to kill him just before the probe did die. So really, really great job, and he's not going to lose too much expansion time there. So great job there by First getting his expansion. It still took a little bit longer than aLive's expansion did, but I think overall he should be fine. And yeah, not too much going on. We just got a couple of barracks. So it's a bit different from last game, I think, where he had the factory out straight after the barracks. But yeah, it's not too bad. This Zealot doing the long trek all the way over, and he's going to have 1 Marine out, but he really needs to raise this supply depot. Like really, there we go. Supply depot goes down, and 1 Marine up the backside. But he's going to have to lift this up. He can definitely afford to keep this finishing and then lift it up. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But I think he'll just get a couple more Marines out and then chase this Zealot away. So that should be fine. 3 Marines should be enough to chase this guy away. He may lose 1 if he micros badly, but I don't think he's going to micro badly. I think he should be fine. Meanwhile, there's a single SCV going around there, just continuing to scout. Protoss not really doing much. He's getting a Stalker out, so the Stalker can take care of that guy when he does come out. But here we go, Proxy Pylon over there. Quite a bit out of the way. So he's either thinking of sometime in the next 6-7 minutes of using this to hit the 3rd base, or he's actually thinking about getting a building on that, like a Proxy Stargate or something like that. And I don't know, it does look like he might be thinking about a Proxy Stargate there. No, Proxy Robotics Facility. That's not something you see every day. So maybe thinking about some surprise Immortals. I can't possibly think that he'd be getting a Proxy Colossus, because that's just too nuts. It takes too long to get the Colossus out. And I mean, Proxy generally, you want to get stuff out nice and fast before anybody actually discovers that you've got the base there. So yeah, really, really interesting. But we will see. A couple of Immortals early on in the game could definitely turn the tides if aLive decides to go for the heavy Marauder play that he went for last game. But there's no guarantee that he's going to do that, because I mean, right now he's happy with the Marines, and there's no reason for him to not be happy with the Marines, because they're doing a great job. These Marines, how did they know that something was coming out here? That is crazy. I think they should be able to take this out before the Immortal comes out, but even if they don't, I mean, Why would you build an immortal into 4 Marines? It's just completely stupid. So there we go, the Marines. Actually, the Stalker is going to try and chase them away, but a whole bunch more Marines will be taken out, and I would cancel the immortal at this point, because you leave it out, it's going to get wiped out by Marines. That is a whole ton of minerals and gas, which is just straight down the toilet. There's just too many Marines, and he's got no hope of saving this guy, no hope at all. So, off to a pretty bad start. I gotta say, first is definitely not off to a good start. He's warping in quite a few guys here though, trying to get another pylon down, trying to save this as a staging point. There's a warp prism coming out, and the time warp definitely going to be helping quite a bit for these guys to scout. But overall, the amount of Marines that aLive has gotten out very, very early game is quite decent. It's very, very decent. He's starting to get a bit screwed over now, but more Marines coming in, and once again, first is not looking that strong in this matchup. I mean, alright, he's got the warp prism. He's got 3 zealots in there. That should be able to do something, considering that he's continually streaming all his Marines out of his base, so he doesn't have that many left to defend. And yeah, we will just have to see if how much damage is actually done here. Going right up to the back, should be able to kill quite a few workers here. All of them running out straight away, except for the ones on gas, of course. And there we go, all the reinforcements coming straight back. And 5 Marines. I don't think 5 Marines are going to cut it. I think he needs to get some more stuff back here. There we go, there's a Marauder coming back. Doesn't quite have the slow on the Marauder, but still going to be quite a lot. And the Warp Prism is going to be very, very careful, because it could go down very, very fast if it is not careful. And there we go, it's going to get out of there, saving all 3 of the Zealots, so nice job. These 2 Stalkers just continuing to be plagued by Stalkers all over the place. And yeah, that's just not going to be fun for anybody. And yeah, so far aLive doing a pretty good job. He has been on the back foot quite a bit, but I think he has handled himself quite well in this game. And yeah, definitely, First has done something which he didn't manage to do in the last game, and that is prevented himself from being hit in his own base. He's prevented his own bases from taking any sort of harassment or anything like that. So he's been right out there, doing a lot of stuff. He hasn't really built himself a lead, but he's kept the Terran player off his back. He's kept the Terran player out of his own base, and that's definitely worth something. So yeah, just moving in. The Warp Prism decides to go back in there. A whole bunch of Marines going in there, and that Warp Prism does not have a lot of health. So if he tries to go in, he is not going to be happy with what happens to him. Man, oh man, oh man. Going to be just warping in one Zealot real quick, and then he's going to be getting out of there. Just sort of moving around, just having a bit of a look, but he's got to be careful, because Marines can take him out so fast. And looks like aLive is going for just beefing up his production at the moment, getting a whole bunch of stuff, still building workers, trying to get a 3rd base out. So that's going to be nice. First getting his own 3rd base out, and his 2nd now. There we go. And this probe, actually his probe's got a kill, man. So that must have been the guy fighting the SCV over here before. He's really been through the mill, that probe. So yeah. Warp Prism coming in here. But this force going to be going down, dropping off the Zealots constantly, and he'll have enough to deal with these Zealots, but he's warping in 5 more, and suddenly aLive in a little bit of a pickle here, with a bunch of Zealots right up in his face. He should be able to hold him off, but he's choosing to use the workers to help him out here, and that is definitely not going to be good for him. This thing might just get cancelled. There he goes, not even cancelled, just straight up destroyed. And meanwhile, the Terran player going in here. We can see a bunch of Terran corpses over there. Looks like he lost about 6 or 7 units. And yeah, the High Templar coming out into this battle. Does have Storm coming out, so that's going to be pretty awesome. And yeah, we're just transitioning into the mid game right now. Everybody's getting a 3rd base out. We're doing a little bit of attacks into each other's bases, but no massive amount of stuff happening. No massive amount of workers being destroyed. No workers for the Protoss really being lost. Maybe 1 or 2 for the Terran player being lost, but that's fine. And this Warp Prism really, I mean, he really needs to get like 1 Viking just to sort of scout around this area, watch out for that thing. But he's doing a very, very hard push in here to hit this base, and the Protoss is right there with him, hoping to get off some storms, but not quite going to be able to. This guy could put off like 2 storms, it looks like, and this guy can just afford 1. And yeah, sort of going around the place. This Zealot, his job was to hold that watchtower, and he has failed utterly, but it's not really his fault, I suppose. So yeah, let's have a look at the upgrades. Actually, these guys, 2 armor. No, 1 weapon's coming out now. Meanwhile, the Terran player has got 1-1. So yeah, the Protoss really, I mean, they really like their armor upgrades because they've generally got quite a bit more health. I mean, especially with you've got the Zealots as well, and you're facing off against Marines. So Marines have a fairly low amount of attack to begin with. So they've got like 5 or 6 or something like that. The Marauders are a lot slower, but they've got a lot more damage. I really wish that I could actually see the damage here, but can't. They've got a much slower attack and they do a lot more damage. So armor against pure Marauders is sort of helpful, but not super helpful. Against Marines though, Marines do a lot of damage really, really fast. Sorry, a low amount of damage really, really fast. Then armor is definitely really, really nice against just mass Marines. And yeah, just moving in. First, definitely trying to make something happen. I don't know if he's really worried about a 4th base coming down, but he is going to be dropping into the top level. And this has actually been messing aLive open a little bit because he just can send in Marines, and the Marines constantly getting wiped out by the Zealots because the Zealots are so beefy. They got all that armor, and here we go, just warping in. He's managed to warp in about 9 Zealots here, and that is a ton of Zealots. I don't know what they're going for because they're not going for the workers, but yeah, just attacking whatever he can. I feel like these guys are just on an attack move at the moment. And yeah, they're just a diversion tactic for this force. But some EMP's going to be going down here and sniping some High Templar as well. I feel like he tried to do that. And yeah, force fields are going to allow him to get out of there nice and safe and not lose that many forces. But a decent amount of forces for aLive back in his main base is going to help him quite a bit. And aLive really, really taking the lead. And I've got to find out where this whatchamacallit thing, because there's a whole bunch of things over the top to see how many workers lost, and so that's the units lost. There we go. This is actually what I was alright, so I got like tons of different panels here, but this is going to do us for now. This units lost panel, I can have this at the same time. My god, this is awesome. Alright, we got to start using this. Workers are about the same. He's lost so many Zealots, but we've lost so many Marines as well. So it's very nice. But I still think aLive is probably ahead there. Yeah, you can see he's lost a lot less than the Protoss player. The Protoss player has lost some very, very expensive units there. And that is definitely not. That poor Immortal right at the start. Not good at all. So anyway, let's get rid of that. And let's just have a look at the... no, that's not what I wanted. The stupid panel doesn't show me all the things, so... I might have to look that up later, or I can just, well, that's interesting. Control N apparently does that. We're a bit all over the place today. Alt U, Control U, Shift U. There's too many combinations of keys. I'm just, yeah. Control, yeah, whatever. We're just gonna stick with this for now. We're gonna get rid of that. We're going to concentrate on the action. A couple of Colossus coming out, and these guys are going to be just dog food for the Colossus if they cannot get it out nice and quickly. But the Zealot's getting a beautiful surround, and you cannot get much better than this from first. Just a beautiful attack, and I feel like even without the Colossus, that aLive might still have been screwed there. First just had everything going his way. He just sat back and he let aLive walk into that massive just butcher pit right there, and yeah, just took so much damage there. There's one pylon which has been there for I feel like the last 20 minutes, finally getting taken out. And yeah, first going to be pushing in with his very, very decent army, and he's just going to be wiping everything out. And he's got 2 Colossi and a very, very decent ground prevention force in the front. The Viking's going to be hitting quite a lot though, and he is going to back off there. Yeah, if you could have gotten rid of those Vikings, I feel like you probably would have stayed in there. It's actually ironic because he got Blink Stalkers last game and he lost, and right now what he needs is Blink Stalkers, because he sort of moves back and then the Stalkers blink in, wipe out the Vikings, and it's just beautiful. But aLive just producing a ton of Vikings at the moment. The Colossus really taken him by surprise in this game. And I feel like those are all workers coming down. Yeah, look at all these broken workers just all being destroyed. And that's actually evened up. aLive must have had a crap load of workers before. Really nice. So, really nice job there. And some nice storms coming down on here. Some nice feedback on the medevacs as well. But aLive continuing to get out a ton of forces. He's having a lot of troubles though, and almost getting his Vikings in a bit of a dodgy situation. But I feel like he's getting worn down a little bit by a little bit now. He's got 3-3 on these guys. Beautiful storm though, and the ghosts are just not doing the job. They're just, you really got to be getting in there nice and fast with the ghosts and doing the beautiful things. But the thing is, ghosts can take out High Templars, but High Templars can't really take out ghosts. I mean, they can try and feed back a ghost and see how that works, but I don't know, man. It's generally not that good of an idea, because ghosts, they won't often have more than 100 energy, simply because they're constantly EMPing stuff whenever there's an engagement. So they always use up that energy, and they're always cloaking and sniper rounding and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this factory is still alive. This guy's been going for pretty much ever. This one Marauder almost killed the Zealot, but in the end, just not quite happening. And oh man, I may have to take like a afternoon nap or something, because I'm yawning all over the place. It's just absolutely horrible. But anyway, going in there, this factory finally getting taken down, although he can just lift that up. It's going to be in the burning stages soon. There he goes, it's on fire, so there's no way of saving that anymore. And I think he just said, whatever, I'll just put that down there, use that, and to stop the 5th base coming down from the Protoss player. And I suppose it did work to some degree. This guy's still there, man. I mean, this should be an easy kill for first, but choosing not to do it. These 5 Marines deep in enemy territory, and yeah, that did not work out well for them at all. And we see the ubiquitous Zealot harassment into bases. I don't know if ubiquitous actually means what I think it means, or if I'm even pronouncing it correctly, but what I'm hoping it means is that they always do it. The Protoss always sends in the Zealots into the bases and always does a lot of attack. And here comes the Protoss main army into the 3rd base, and he sees the planetary. He's like, yeah, let's wipe it out. But the Vikings have a possibility to do a nice flank. They're not quite getting the perfect flank, but they are going to knock these guys back a little bit, getting off some nice EMPs there. And yeah, it should be pretty fine. This pylon here and this command center is starting to get a little bit chummy there. The Zealots continuing to attack this. He really needs to send something over there to deal with those Zealots. Here we go, a bunch of Marines coming over, and the Mules just not going to be good at all. Income-wise, he's still doing alright. He hasn't lost too many workers, but he needs to be mining off this space. At the moment, all those workers were just sort of slacking off. And here we go, a bunch more Zealots, and aLive's got to be thinking, come on, man, give me a break here. But there is no break for aLive in terms of these Zealots streaming in all over the place. And they're really hitting a lot of workers there. Meanwhile, this force continually pushing in. And some nice storms coming in with some just High Templars going in the middle. Trying to gauge where the Terran force is going to be, and just running in there, getting some storms off. So great job. aLive's starting to look like he may be able to take the Protoss player on. Just main base versus main base, but yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know, because his Marine forces, his Triple M, is not as high as it possibly could be. It's fine, it's alright. I mean, he's got the counters, he's got the Vikings and the Ghosts, he's got more than enough of those, but the Triple M, I don't know whether those guys will survive that well, because yeah, when it comes down to massive amounts of Zealots, it's not good. And his economy is definitely suffering. Zealots and a couple of DTs coming in there as well, just to make things interesting. So not going to be fun at all. And sooner or later he's going to make a stand, but I don't know. I do not know if it's going to work. Managed to get a very nice Colossus kill there, and the army is going to be heading back. But yeah, if we have a look at the income, he's down so many workers, and right now, first just he just needs to run with it. I mean, he's in the lead right now. He's doing a pretty good job, and he's got bases, a lot more bases than aLive currently has. So economically, he's in a much better position. So he just needs to start trimming down the edges on this Terran force, and then he should be in a good position to win. But I think heads up, against this army, I don't know if we could win. I really don't. So he's got to get in a good position, and if he's not in a good position, he's just got to back off. He's playing it nice and safe here, and the Terran player knows that he's a bit screwed here. So he wants to push this. He wants to finish off the Protoss player. Beautiful storms coming in from the side. That's one of the things that First does really, really great, is just flanking High Templars. You never know when there's going to be a High Templar flanking in from the side, getting in with storms in a direction that you were not expecting. And here we go. First, still, it doesn't look like he wants to engage this force. It looks like he just wants to buy himself some time, but the Terran player really, really pushing the issue and doing a great job at actually wiping out the Protoss force. So, first, it doesn't matter how good of an economic position he's in. If he doesn't have the army, then, yeah, I don't know. I do not know. He's doing a lot of attacks, though, and some nice storms coming down. The Vikings still out there, still taking a lot of stuff down. And meanwhile, the Protoss, he's sort of doing stuff, but he really doesn't have any army units anymore. So aLive, against all odds, may still win this game. He's just had a better army composition. His macro went out the window. His economy went out the window. He's got basically no workers left. But if he's got the army, and if First cannot back up against this army, then yeah, I mean, it's not much you can do. And the bloody DT, man, he really wants to take out these command centers, because if there's no more command centers, there's no more scan, and yeah, this DT can just go nuts. And he really, really is starting to go nuts. And this force just slowly going down. A couple of lucky High Templar hits, maybe not lucky, but just very, very skilled High Templar hits, and the DT's just sort of strumming these guys away. And meanwhile, I mean, First just still has a fully mining base, and that's all he needs to win this game. So he's almost got 2 fully mining bases. I feel like these guys are trying to do something over here, not quite working, but ton of workers over here. So yeah, First definitely taking that game away, doing a great job, and yeah, congratulations to him. For a really, really great attack. Maybe aLive should have got some Ravens, because he's definitely got the gas for them. And they probably would have been alright, I feel like. Just seeker missiles all over the place, missile turrets, or whatever the hell those things are. So, anyway, moving on. And First, definitely showing that he knows how to win games in this series. So it's 1-1 so far. Really, really nice, and we will be moving on to game number 3 in this best of 5 series very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. This is Hairy Muppet. I'll catch you guys later.